Alright, so in this video I'm just going to give like a brief overview of how you might use the editor as a speedrunner. I am doing this on the 2.4.3 version. Newer versions, especially the 0.2017 and the 4XX versions, have some nicer new features, but the basic concepts are still the same. So first thing I'm going to do is file open document.world and pick a world to open. Nexus is always an interesting one, let's go there. Nexus is a big world, so this will take a second to load. When it does this view up here, you'll get this small toolbar which you don't need to care about, and you'll actually get your viewport here. So to control the viewport, just press escape. Make sure you're not clicking into something else, whatever. Once you've pressed escape, it's mouse to move the camera, WASD to move around, space to go up. And also, very nicely, you can scroll to change your movement speed, which really helps, and if you get good at, it's just much better than using Ghost Turbo in the main game. So now some things you might want to do. Let's say this is a custom map where, oh interesting, there are invisible floors there, I never knew that. Let's say this is a custom map where we don't know if we've found all the sigils yet. So you can just press N to get a full list of all the entities in the map. Now this being Nexus, there are quite a lot. You can see we have IDs in the 20,000s here. And yes, those start from 1. But you can also just press, say, T to jump through the list towards Tetrominos. Double click that. Now I've selected a Tetromino that's somewhere in the world, but I don't know where. So as long as you're not in the actual viewport, you can press A and you'll jump straight to your selection. And just to like prove that, I'll select something else manually just by clicking on it, and again, A makes you jump to your selection. So this way you can quickly find where exactly your stuff's hidden. Something else that might be interesting, let's go up here and find one, is scripts. So these orange cubes here are generally scripts. There are a few other entities I can't remember off the top of my head that look similar, but you can see up here it's called script07 and it's a type C script properties. So if you have a script, you can just double click it and it will open it up. And you can, I'm not going to teach you how to read Lua, but there's just Lua code there you can read through. The one thing I will point out is this run-handled construct, because they tend to use that a lot. Basically, a script will try to run in a single tick if it can, unless it uses a run-handled or a wait function. So what a run-handle does, it has this first function which tells it how long to go on for, so forever. And then you specify an event and a function that happens when that event is hit. I mean, the structure kind of makes it look pretty good already. In this case, if a switch is activated, it tells an elevator to move to its destination marker end. If it's deactivated, it needs to be moved to marker start. On destination reach, the door is open. But just knowing what it's doing like that isn't necessarily the most useful. So what you can do, any of these green variables are references to actual in-world entities. And occasionally they're not actually entities, but 99% of the time they'll be like this, and in those rare cases the name generally tells you everything you need to know anyway. But if you click in one of the green variables and then press F10, you'll see that selected what this entity actually is, and it also highlights it in green there. And so if I'm off on a different part of the level again, I can again just press A to jump exactly to what that entity is so I can see. We can do this with all of them. You see the start marker is down there, or the end marker is up here, and the elevator itself is this thing here, which apparently also controls doors. I'm not exactly sure what those are, but okay. Something else you might be interested in, let's go to floor 3, is collision. So you might notice a small gap here, but how can you be sure that's actually a gap and not just a gap in the model? Well, if you go up here in this top title bar under rendering, you can go tick collision meshes, and for some other uses, collision primitives. And this kinda shows you what everything looks like, but you can still see the actual textures. So if you want to see just collision, you can go to rendering modes and set that to none. Now you can see if we go over here, yes, there is actually a decent sized gap here for you to sneak through. You can also actually, only in the editor, if you launch the game, to do this, you're not selected in the window, you press T to test the game from the default checkpoint, or Shift T to test from your position, which is very helpful. So say I actually want to, while testing like this, check the collision out. In editor you actually have two commands to do that. You can use rend show collision meshes equals 1 and rend show collision primitives equals 1. And then again, to disable this texture, you can do ren I rendering mode equals 18 to disable the rest of that. And now you can see most of the collision. Some stuff doesn't show up, like the purple barrier or this gate here, but it's still generally useful enough to find out what you have to know. Something else that, let's just X out of there, something else that might be useful is full bright mode. So let's just go disable these rendering modes. Some custom maps are very dark, so if you turn on full bright, it just ignores lighting and you can see everything perfectly fine. There isn't really that much that's super dark in Nexus, but you can see how everything's fully bright. And if you go back in-game, it's one of the rendering modes. Just press tab here, it shows you them all. 12. So rendering mode 12 is full bright mode if you're actually playing in a game like this, so that can be helpful in dark maps. Let's get back to normal though. Oh, something else to point out. There are a few set worlds this happens in, I think B5 is one. This is not really that useful. You'll notice when I'm playing this it's super bright in the editor window. Just change this EV auto value down and it's playable again. You can actually see stuff properly. Now, there's less reason for you to do this, but some basic overviews of things you might want to try. Like I said before, you can just click on stuff to select it. You can drag or shift-click, drag, or whatever, just select multiple things. It's the delete key to actually delete the entities, or you can use the control key to bring up the selection box and move it round. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory how this works. These things let you move along two axes at once. Occasionally you want to do something like that, say to, this is actually a good level, say to try to delete the water. Although apparently I can't select it. Not sure, other things you might want to do. Chapters, that's a good one actually. So this here is a chapter. You can see there's a very helpful name 239 down there. Or if I switch back to the entity tab here, you can see it again. But generally, chapters are just linked to these purple barriers here. So if you click on this, you'll see it says front chapter to start is 239, which happens to be this one right here. So when you walk through the store, you get the chapter for me, myself, now 2 jammers, and when you reset checkpoint, you spawn. You should spawn in there. Let's try that again. See, there, now it worked. Now, sometimes scripts do some interesting stuff with that, like you can see over here. I'm not actually sure which script controls these. Let's go try and find out. Apparently it's this one. You can see here's that run handled construct again. On any detector being activated, which is literally everything around here, it starts chapter hub, which, as you might guess, is that one. So by looking for these cyan boxes, you can see what exactly triggers you to change checkpoints, and I'm not sure how you'd get here, but you can see, for example, I'm in an Iron Curtain, and I can jump like that to get out without losing my checkpoint, whereas just walking off would do so. So a lot less useful than some of the other things, but you might occasionally need to know about it. You can also... This chapter here actually specifies a different world file to go to. So this one is linked to the portal in this case, but you can have a script start a chapter in a different world, which will cause the next world to load. But aside from that, I think the whole second half of this video has been very uncommon things. Hopefully it's everything you ever need to know about the editor though.